Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is an amazing, amazing group of people. We're here to tackle how to book gigs in 2020, if gigs are to be had, or how to get ready for 2021. And oh man, Mike put together an amazing panel here of people who would know this inside and out from all sorts of different angles. So I'll just go one by one. If you could just introduce yourself and where your main business of operations and what you do for that business. We'll start there with you, Peter.
My name's Peter Orr. I have a company called Anchors Away, and I have venues in Denver and in Dallas. I have the Oriental Theater in Denver, and in Dallas I have Gas Monkey and Gas Monkey Live, and I've been doing concerts for 25 years or so.
Thank you. Kim?
Hi, my name's Kim Schoen. I'm an artist manager. I've been doing that for about 10 years now. I've worked with stadium level arena acts down to club acts, and currently manage Motionless in White and the Messenger Birds, based in Los Angeles.
Awesome. Anthony?
Hey, gang. Founder and owner of Come and Take It Productions in Austin, Texas. Been booking shows here for 10 plus years or so. And co-owner of Come and Take It Live. We opened just over 3 years ago, or right around 3 years ago.
Excellent. Thank you. And Dave?
Yeah, I am a co-founder, co-owner of Sound Talent Group. We're an agency. We book tours for bands, everything from Motionless in White with Kim to Parkway Drive and Lamb of God and Run DMC and Killswitch Engage and August Burns Red and many more. And also started Velocity Records, and I also own the record label and amongst other businesses. But that's a little bit of what I do, and I'll give you the same preface I gave these guys before, but we're all working from home, so I apologize in advance if you get a couple dogs barking in the background from time to time. And also, I've not shaved or cut my hair under quarantine, so I normally do look like I live in a home and not on the street.
Thank you. And Mike?
Hey, guys. Mike, founder of Outer Loop Coaching, along with you, Paul, and manager over at 10th Street Entertainment. Manage Ice Nine Kills, and yeah, that's really it.
Peter, can we start with you with your venues? Are you, with the fact that you've got nothing going on right now, just like every other venue across the world, are you looking at booking at a particular high margin shows or particular types of shows once your doors are able to open again?
It's so hard to say with not knowing how we're going to open or what our capacities are going to be limited to. Because they could say you could open in May, but you can only do 200 people or 50 people, or you can open in August and you can do whatever number. So we're kind of been talking amongst ourselves for the partners in my different ventures to say, what are we going to do? And when they say, hey, you can open at 200 cap, what are we going to do? Because we need to make some money. So we have kind of different plans for the different ways that it could be opened. And we're just waiting for the information just like everybody else.
Gotcha. And should booking agents and artists, even like local artists in your town, should they be keeping their ear to the ground for these types of announcements? And then what slots are going to be available for which types of bands?
I mean, if they open on a more limited basis where we can at least put some people in our venues, but at such a limited capacity that it prohibits Dave's bands and everybody's bands from touring still, because nobody, August Burns Red's not going to go around and play 100 cap venues, or maybe they will, I don't know. But if that happens, then we're going to have to fill it with local bands, because that's who's sitting around waiting to make some money too. So if it opens on a smaller amount, we'll be ready to hit up all our local bands and start doing as many local shows as we can, given the capacity.
Excellent. So, Anthony, anything different with the way that you're approaching things at Come and Take It?
No, man, to be honest with you, everything that Peter just said is right on par, I think, with, I would imagine every promoter in the country right now, just kind of waiting to see, you know, when we're able to begin operating again and what kind of restrictions we're going to have when that begins. You know, I feel like the venues themselves might find themselves in, I don't want to say a better scenario, because depending on capacity and overhead, you know, it might cost them more just to be open than it would for them to be closed, but maybe they can open for small local shows and for alcohol sales and things like that. But I feel comparatively that's going to be a drop in the bucket. So we're just kind of waiting, to see what we can and can't do.
The other thing I want to add is it's hard to tell what the public's going to want to do. So while we want to have some shows just to bring some semblance of normalcy back to life, you know, it's nice to want to make some money because none of us are making it right now. But at the same time, just to have a little bit of regularity back into life and give people that would be nice. But again, you know, who knows who's going to come show up when we do have those capacities.
Dave, is this the same thing you're hearing from the promoters you talk to? What's your strategy going to be from the other side of the desk?
Yeah, you know, it is. The problem right now is that there's not a single person that knows more than another person, right? It's not like, you know, I'm about to tell you guys something that none of you have heard and vice versa. Like, we're all going off the same information and just interpreting it the best that we can. And, you know, and so it's really hard. I think the hardest part, and it's kind of what Peter started to say, but like, I think the hardest part is just not knowing, right? Like, even if they said right now, like, there will not be a single show in any capacity for the next 18 months, but after that, we're back rolling. At least then we'd have at least then, like, well, obviously that's not something we want to hear. At least we'd be able to plan and prepare, right? But like, we don't know if we're going to be allowed to do shows in a month, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We don't know what capacities we'll be allowed to do. We don't know if Ohio is going to allow tours and California won't. And, you know, so like, it starts to become really difficult. We were talking today over here at Sound Talent Group about, like, it seems pretty clear that like the red states are the ones that are going to probably be the first to open, right? Like, you know, people, you know, those are the Trump states, and, you know, obviously Trump doesn't usually make decisions with his brain. It's more just whatever goes. So he's like, let's just get rolling. And so all the red states, like, we were literally talking today, well, do we book literally just tours of the red states? And then maybe those are able to play first and the blue are not. You don't really know, but like, you know, Peter touched on something interesting. You know, he made the comment about, like, you know, like a band like August Burns Red, who normally could sell 1,000 to 2,000 capacity venues out pretty much anywhere. Are they going to go play 100 cap room? And I think what we're starting to see right now is that because bands need to make money, I'm starting to hear bands that we work with say things like, yeah, if that's what we have to do to go play a show, then we will. So instead of doing a $27 ticket in a 2,000 seater, let's go do a $75 ticket in a 200 seater. Maybe we do 2-3 nights there. And that way these bands can just get back on the road and start making a living, you know? So those are conversations that are happening. I think that the second shows are allowed to play, we'll end up getting creative and figuring out how to make it happen. Some bands are not going to want to do that type of thing. They're used to kind of playing to a certain standard in terms of production or crew, and it won't work in those scenarios. And other bands are going to say, yeah, we are used to that, but we don't give a shit. Like, we got to pay our mortgage. So it's going to be really interesting to see. But I think the hardest part, going back to what I was saying before, is just not knowing. Like, even if it was really far away, but at least we had a date to work towards, we could plan. You know, everyone on this call, whether it's when we work with Mike on Ice Nine Kills or Kim with Motionless or any of our other bands, we're really used to strategizing and figuring out, okay, like, if we've got a record coming out during this time, this is what a cycle could look like. And right now, like, strategy's kind of gone out the window. It's just kind of been like, well, we'll try to book a tour in June. And then, all right, well, that's not looking like it's going to work. Let's try it in August. And then let's try it in October. And now let's try 2021. And, you know.
Can I get strategic with you for a second and just put the August Burns Red States tour together with you right now.
I like that. That's good.
That's great.
That is great. I will give you credit when I tell them that idea. Don't you worry.
Kim, am I
That's
right
awesome.
that Motionless in White were on the road when everything hit the fan? Am I correct in that?
Yeah, we were just at the tail end of a tour. Probably one of the most successful tours we've had in the band's career. We were on a co-headline with Beartooth all of January, and it was right at the end of that tour that this news started to come out about COVID-19, and there wasn't a lot of information at the time to really know how that was going to affect anything at that point. And we had a break coming up after that tour for February, March. Our next tour was supposed to be in April, May, festivals mixed with headline dates, and, a really great spring tour that we were looking forward to with a lot of great bands that we hadn't toured with before that we were really excited about. So when more and more information was coming out and we fell into that bracket of artists starting to look at that April, May timeframe, we thought, well, it seems like only March is questionable. We don't have any shows in March. We should be fine. And then, obviously things weren't fine. And we became one of the artists that said, okay, we're going to take the spring and we're going to push it to the summer. And we'll be totally fine because the summer will, everything will be back to normal. Now, even more information has come out, and that summertime period has become very questionable. And we're starting to look at the rest of the year like we may not tour at all. Tour postponements and all that has suddenly gone out the window. And, we're trying to remain hopeful in that maybe in the fall and the winter, we'll be able to make up for some of these shows or do something cool for the fans, but we just don't know yet. And we're also in a position where we're in the middle of our record cycle. So we had all of 2020 lined up. Shows are being booked more and more in advance. So by the time it was January, we had everything booked until the fall. And all that going away raises the question, well, how do you start 2021? Do you still start in the middle of your record cycle and make up for all those tours and try and do the June European festivals and everything that's getting moved? Or do you make the new record now and start 2021 on a new record cycle?
Another ton of people are on the edge of their seats waiting for you to answer that question.
I'm waiting.
Give us a scoop.